Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the My Hero Academia podcast. This is our first one, so please be kind to us. If you have any recommendations for editing or recording or anything like that, please let us know.
I apologize in advance.
Yes. So we're going to be reviewing both the manga and the anime today. The manga chapter is number 188, Your Father, the Number One Hero.
And the anime episode is episode 50, End of the Beginning. Ooh. And I'm Kendra. I'll be your co-host.
And I'm Sophie.
Nice. Okay, let's get down to business to defeat the Nomu.
I liked that.
Yes. I want to get one joke in. This week is really heating up, I guess. So let's see.
Well done.
Yay. And so we start the chapter with Endeavor yelling out, "Burn it to bits!" And he slices and dices into little bits. They're all crumbling away. And we get some random heroes saying, "He's cutting it apart with fire in an instant. That's godly!" And Hawk has to do a bit of a flip to get... I think because he's having trouble flying right now, maybe, because we
he's lost so many wings.
Those are the feathers catching the rocks. I just thought they were on fire, but that is also the wings in there. He says, "Haven't you ever cooked anything, Endeavor?" I just imagine him kind of like bumbling along. And then he goes on to say, "When chopping, you gotta make the pieces uniform. Ouch! Quit!" And then Endeavor yells at him, "Quit yapping and tighten up your sloppy moves."
Oh yeah, can you see that the feathers are attached to the rubble in the background?
Yeah.
So he's being thrusted backwards, Hawks, but he's still taking care to move the rubble away.
Yeah, and Endeavor is a little mean to say sloppy moves when he's dealing with his damage he made. And Hawks responds, "Yeah, but when I send out too many feathers, my flying takes a hit." And Endeavor goes, "Well, excuse me!" It's just like, okay, Endeavor. And then we get high-end bird. Boom! He gets someone blasts high-end. It's a guy shooting his fists out. "Endeavor, Hawks, we got your backs." And high-end goes, "Don't interfere." And we see something coming out of him, and he's flying it out. And I thought for a second everyone was saying shit, but he says, "Ch-." And we kind of get a bit of a breakdown of the high-end's different quirks. Flies via shoulder-mounted jets. Transforming arms aid in flight, but can also stretch and split apart. He's Luffy. Stretched out arms are strengthened by muscular enhancement. Enough power to smash straight through a reinforced concrete. Yeah. Plus regeneration. That makes 5. And the 6th. Fission. They're a different color, though, so maybe they're just stored in the body. I just wonder, how are they making these if they don't have One for All anymore? That's kind of a question.
Yeah. And unless he made them beforehand or he passed his quirk on, but I don't think he would do.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd pass his on.
He doesn't seem like the kind of person to do it.
Unless they found a way to regenerate certain quirks with blood.
Yeah. And how are they have so many regeneration things? Like, who are these people they're finding that can heal so well and still, get caught?
I wonder if they're going after, homeless people and things and just taking people off the street and...
Yeah. Or if they're making
their quirks that way.
If they're making quirks now, they found a way to artificially create regeneration.
Yeah, they could be as well.
Because we have a way of stopping them. Sorry.
The two heroes in the back that try and help them, the guy that's thrusting the cannons out, and then the one behind him who's cutting off his fingers and his arms. I don't know if he's projectiling them at them, but
he's not even helping. He's just like, look what I can do. He's probably throwing them. He kind of has the same thing that Hawks would have, that he, I guess, using his body to fight, and he loses it or uses it, he gets weaker every time he uses it.
Yeah. I guess, imagine being saved by someone's finger.
I would just be like,
no saving people with their feathers, that's...
Or just getting punched in the face with a middle finger, just jab it in the villain's eye.
Take this!
Exactly. And I think it looks like he can do it to his legs, too.
Yeah, they look kind of wound up again, a bit Luffy. So the Black Nomo again says, "Who's the best here? Fun, fun. Interfere." And then we go back to Endeavour, who's looking very, very angry. Taking this thing at face value, it's out to fight someone strong. That's pretty common thinking for villains. I'm really starting to overheat. So to keep the fight with me going, it's diverting our backup down on the ground. This Nomo is thinking, and that's a very ominous page of him, as I'm guessing he's regenerating.
Yeah.
Because one of his fingers, it's just a little bit of a tendon and bone.
Yeah.
And the other hand is all bone, as he's regenerating his arms back up.
It looks like a scarecrow.
Yeah, he does look like a scarecrow. This must be him regenerating. But he's been really burnt right to the bone. Like, even his shoulder bones and things are just sticking out.
Yeah.
So I guess he can regenerate his other quirks as well.
It's kind of cool is that I think the background thing is his eyes. The Nomo's eyes.
Yeah. And even his sound effect is different. His sound effect is womp.
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 Womp, womp.
So we go to the citizens, and they're terrified by he's producing white Nomus rather than other black ones. They're saying, get out the way, as they try and fight off. And then Hawks comes in with 2 massive feathers. And he looks like he uses the 2 big feathers to cut off the heads of the reproduced white Nomus.
And I want to say one of the white Nomus has an eyeball inside its mouth.
Oh,
it's creepy.
That hand they're using is massive.
Oh, yeah.
He's using his smaller feathers to save the civilians at the same time. They're saying, Hawks is saying, "Yep, it's me. Now let's get you guys somewhere nice and far away. Because in all honesty, I can't do much against brute strength. And I ain't guaranteeing anything, especially when it's my own neck on the line." And he looks really sly there.
Yeah, I guess you're kind of, in the Lost first episode, you were talking about how you don't quite trust him.
Yeah, I really don't trust him. Any time that he says anything, like last chat where he said, I can't remember what it was, but his words were worrying, but his face was nothing. And it reminded me of back in the provisional license exam, when that guy from another school came up and wished them well, and Mako smashed his hand away and said, "Don't take you for an idiot, your eyes don't match your words." And now that's what I get from this guy.
We kind of get a good look at his wings here, and we can see that he kind of has a flap so the wings can come out, so it's like specifically designed for his wings, which I think is really cool. Otherwise, like, how would you get it? I guess when he takes it off, he has to, like, take it off his wings as well, and so he has to, like, pull it? Or I guess his feathers can pull it? Like, that would be so hard to wear clothes when you have wings.
Yeah. I would just... Even just putting it on. But I guess you could say that with Shoji's arms and Ida's massive calves.
I know they did mention when they went to the mall, they talked about, like, they were clothes specifically designed for different stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if there's someone there who, in the shopping centres, who, like, tailors them. This is something that only women would probably think about so much, but how do they get their clothes?
Yeah, I want to see, like, we know May designs stuff. I want to meet or I guess Best Jeanist can do stuff with clothes, too. Like, I want to meet the clothes designer person who has to, like, get their head around all this stuff. Or, like, just, okay, Best Jeanist has to, like, help him take off his cool jacket. Cause...
Sideline fashion business.
Yes.
We go back to the Black Nomu. Him and Endeavour are both in the air. And the Nomu says, "Not shooting anymore. Heat and fire lines. Or can't shoot more in that case." So Endeavour's thinking he's got some good intuition, even though his words aren't great. "My flash fire fist condenses my flame to white hot points. It's supposed to be my one-hit finisher. Rampant use raises my body heat, which slows down my whole system. I'm already at a disadvantage in both speed and power. I don't know how many quirks it's actually got. Either I'm holding back. Holding back could definitely prove deadly. My body just keeps overheating." We get a flashback at the end to his family. His wife looks lovely there. They're obviously visiting somewhere snowy. And he says, "That's why, with you," flashes over to a picture of his 3 siblings, excluding Todoroki, "and you guys." And then it goes to a picture of Todoroki saying, "and you." So he's thinking about all his family here that we've seen. I really like the pictures. The wife's drawn very well, but even there, she looks sad.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, is this their first date? Like, what's happening here?
I don't know if it would be, because most gardening, so most flowers there aren't very many flowers that bloom in the cold, and from the way she's dressed, it looks like it's either winter or they're in a cold environment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be. I don't know about Japan's foliage.
Yeah. I have some questions about, like, why didn't we just, like, team up with her and have her, like, blast him with ice every now and then? Or, like, buy an ice pack and wear that. Built it into your suit. Yeah, exactly. Why, like, what eugenics your way into the ultimate superhero instead of just, like, buying an icy hot pack and use that in your suit? Built-in air conditioner. Just, like, talk to May, time travel, and get May to design your super suit.
It's true. Is there anything you want to say about when there's the three of them?
I personally think it's the ice kid we saw last chapter. And the middle kid is Dabi, or it's a mystery kid? Because he's taller than the sister, so he seems older.
But he's taller than the sister now.
Yeah.
I think that's the same hair, and the hairline is in the same place as well. He's got that further back hairline. And also the third one, we don't really see his face because it's obscured by the hair.
Yeah.
So I think the only reason he would obscure him specifically is because we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah.
This other kid, so it kind of looks like he didn't really abuse them, but they're a bit neglected. So if people are thinking it is Dabi, even though his hair is white here rather than red, maybe he as he was going along, he was training the other ones, but then they kept having better quirks, and he was then just putting them aside.
Yeah.
You're not good enough now. I have an upgrade. I don't need you.
Kirishima dyed his hair, so maybe when he, like, rebelled against the family or left, he was like, I'm gonna dye my hair.
That's true, especially if he's trying to hide his identity and he won't give anyone his name, and he's got all those piercings and things. That would make sense for him to dye his hair.
Yeah. So he must be, like, he's younger than 19 then, Dabi. He's probably, like...
Yeah, he could be in between their ages, though, because Todoroki is 15, 16. I can't remember if he's had his birthday yet in the current timeline. And then his older brother, the one that we know, he's 19 and the sister's 22.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to quickly check how old Todoroki is. His birthday was in January, so I don't think he's gotten older yet.
So he's still 15.
Yeah.
So there's time in between 15 and 19. It's plenty of time to sprout out some others.
Yep. Okie doke. Mystery boys. Which one's the mystery boy?
We have our bets. You can tweet us. Yeah. Tell us which one you think is the mystery one. We go back to the Black Nomu again. He's saying, my power, my strength, strength. Let me try it on you. As he comes towards him with all his extra appendages flying out of his body. And it doesn't look like he's hit Endeavour, but he's missed him. So it looks like Endeavour's dodged him with the coming out of his right arm.
Oh, yeah.
And then we go back to the news crew saying, there, do you see him, folks? It's Endeavour. So bright, even at this distance. And it looks like they're running away from the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're running away from it while they're filming. It's talented for the cameraman. Mm-hmm. Endeavour says, a purgatory you can't escape or regenerate from. Now burn away to nothing. He's ignited violently. Flames look like they're coming out of all of his body, except for his hands where his armour is, so they must be flame retardant, but it looks like it's coming out from everywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to point out, now he's kind of doing what Endeavour did earlier I think he probably did it earlier, but, like, when he sends out his limbs, it's very similar. Oh, sorry, there's loud stuff in the background for me. It's very similar to, like, his fire beams. Now it's kind of like limb beams. They're not beams, but, like, limbs kind of, like, shooting out. And we get prominence burn! And Endeavor's thinking, just watch me. And then he thinks, I can't let you see me being so pathetic here. And I'm wondering, is he thinking that to Todoroki, Hawks, or, like, his wife?
I think he's still thinking about his family.
Yeah.
It would make sense because the ellipses from the family say, that's why with you, and you guys, and you. I can't let you see me being so pathetic here because the ellipses don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be them.
Yeah, we get some more fire shots, and then we see he's kind of looking, and we see there's still a head floating. Dun, 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 dun. We get a warmp again because he's regrowing his whole body from his head. Too bad, what's the voice there? Too bad, Endeavor. The head, it tore it off and tossed it. Hawks looks shocked, and we get the other limb extendo at Endeavor, and we get the sister reacting, or I guess daughter in this case. Ah! And they're watching in the taxi.
Sorry, even in this picture of Endeavor, it doesn't. You can see that it doesn't go through his head.
Yeah.
It just goes at the top and grazes him, and maybe a little bit below the shoulder.
Yeah. Because let's see. We see it gets his side. It kind of, you can see it gets his chin, and then it goes up and it bursts to fire, I said fire, blood. And the blood, if you look, it kind of looks like the flower, like they're right on top of each other.
Yeah.
And I like that she's not watching the TV, she's just playing cards or something.
It looks, maybe she's reading his letters.
Oh, yeah.
Listening to the radio. Reading Todoroki's letters again through.
Yeah. And he doesn't look happy. He might be eyeless, or is he dead? We'll find out. Maybe. Go ahead.
I really don't think he's dead.
No, I don't think he's dead.
I think it's such a ruse. So we go on to the next page.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, with the family, we can see that I think she's listening to the radio.
Yeah.
She's saying, and she looks devastated. And in the back of,
or no,
that's the
sister. She's watching the TV on her computer.
Yeah, they've either got someone to drive them round, which they could do. They're Endeavour sons. They're minted, so they're either in a taxi or they've got a personal driver, and they're watching it on the laptop.
Yeah,
and then we go over to Todoroki's face, and he looks just stunned. It looks like there's a little bit of fire coming off of his right side, just a small amount of some of his hair. No, we cut to Ozawa in the teacher's room with a massive TV that looks like a microwave. And he's sitting next to Eraserhead. Opposite is All Might. And then there's 13 as well, who looks like he's going to play with Eri.
Yeah.
And they're obviously watching on the TV. And Ozawa says, "Let's take a trip back to your room, Eri." She says, "Okay." And he says, "Guys, keep an eye on Eri.
I just want to point out.
I'm going to Todoroki."
Yeah, okay. Two things to point out. I want to point out, if they're watching the TV, maybe they shouldn't have the small child who has, a evil quasi-father figure of a villain fighting a hero. Might be bad. And also, I think he's going to Endeavor. I don't think he's going to Shoto. Sorry, keep going.
Oh, you think he's going to help?
He's going to help Endeavor. Because I think
But they're quite far, though, aren't they? We've seen on the map that they're not in the same city anymore. They've gone to Hawks' city.
Oh, did they? Okay. You can,
this is because Endeavor came to visit. He came all the way to visit him.
Yeah.
Which is in a different area to where they are. So I don't know how quickly he would get there.
He's gonna run really fast. It's a secret running quirk.
Fly me.
Yes, he's like, toss me. So just President Mike can voice blast him all the way there. Could President Mike be a jetpack? You just have him on his back and he yells and he can propel it. I am here for Eraserhead and President Mike jetpacks. You heard it here first. I'm calling it for next chapter.
We've not seen President Mike's full abilities yet. Yeah. He's not going to bust out a move like that against Jiro and Oda. No. We get a small scene of a small picture of All Might just looking. He's obviously very skeletal there, but looking worried. And he says Endeavor, and it looks like he's going to clutch his heart, but it's lower than his heart, so I don't think it is. I think he's clutching his side. Yep. Maybe when he gets too worried or his heart beats too fast, it hurts his old injuries.
Yep.
Then we go back over, final page, to a very ominous black Nomu standing over a looks like a defeated Endeavor, saying, boring, no stronger heroes around. And I think this is Endeavour thinking, oh no, this might be a flashback thought. I'm hoping to become a hero you can be proud of. And then we flash to the dorm room and we see Izuku, Kirishima, Kaminari I'm guessing that's Kaminari with his head turned still watching the TV, Momo looking around, and I think we can see Tokoyami standing behind there. And they're watching the news, and Todoroki's just come in. So yes, Endeavour's thoughts, I'm hoping to become a hero you can be proud of. Your father, the number one hero, someone deserving of those titles. ... And we see Todoroki's face.
And he grits his teeth.
Yeah.
And we're very much getting him, like, from the side, his scar side here, even. So kind of like...
that's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Even though, his mom gave him the scar because of his dad, but I was having, like, Zuko thoughts here.
I wonder if people are going to use Kaminari, his face not being turned and him being more interested in the screen, as extra ammo in his traitor theory, because it looks like, even though in Tokoyami, we can see his eye, so it looks like he's not completely focused on the TV.
His eyes are on the side of his head, right? So
yeah. I wonder what his field of vision is.
Well, he might be looking out of this corner of his eye. I wonder if, like, this is making me think of him being under Hawks, if Hawks will, like, teach him to use his feathers like that, too. To use, like, Dark Shadow in a very, like, minuscule, tiny fashion for, like, big results. Kind of.
Could be. I think we'll see something. We'll see some flashbacks of that. But yeah, Momo looks really distraught. We can see little teardrops in the three of them who are turned round.
Yeah. And it just makes me wonder, like, are they gonna have to stop Shoto or Todoroki from running to save him? Like, I try to wonder, like, are we gonna get another vengeance arc, or how, like, I don't know what Todoroki will do, because he doesn't like his dad, but like, he doesn't want to watch his dad die on live TV. It's not dead, but like, I don't know.
How would he get there again, though? Just ride his ice.
Yeah, he'd be like, he's gonna, like, he can ride his ice, or, like, he's like, Ida, you be a watchman! Come with me, make sure I don't do anything dumb. I'm gonna save my asshole of a father. Then I can decide if I forgive him or not.
I don't think she'll let him go.
No. Watchmen Momo and Watchmen Ida can happen again. And that's why I feel like Ida will be like, this is literally what happened with Stain. We can't keep doing this. So I don't know what he's gonna do. Because, like, I think his feelings about his dad are still, like, mixed towards hating him. So I honestly, I don't know what Todoroki's gonna do. If Eraserhead is going to Todoroki to make sure he doesn't do anything dumb, and just, like, looking at him until he, like, calms down, that would be okay, I guess, and just, like, put him in an icebox or something.
I don't think he'll do anything.
Yeah.
I don't think Endeavour's dead, so I think we might see some movement there, or the Nomu will just go off, but
yeah.
I don't think he'll do anything. He's just... I don't know, he might be too conflicted to act on it.
We'll get, like, a fire eye patch for Endeavour. But who's gonna take down this Nomu? Oh, maybe it'll be, like... I had kind of a thought if the villains, like, create a fake hero.
Ooh.
And that person will defeat this, and it'll be, like, a new person. Or... Oh, no! Please! Please let it be Wash! I will, like... Please. Please let Wash come.
Maybe they'll send a team up.
Yeah.
They'll create the Avengers.
Yeah, we don't have an Avenger. I guess they kind of did that when they saved Bakugo, but it would be cool if they did, like, a... Or maybe Kamui Woods, like, or yeah, they'll have a whole bunch of people.
But how would they find the Nomu as well? If the Nomu doesn't keep on attacking people and he goes back to base, if they can order him to come back, if he doesn't stay out in the open, they won't be able to find him, and then he'll just be able to keep springing up and attacking people.
It seems like he wants to keep fighting, though, because he's like no stronger heroes around, so he's picking a fight still, and he's on TV, so they know where he is. It's just a matter of who can get there the fastest and who can actually beat him.
See, I think that no stronger heroes around means that he's going to leave and try and find someone stronger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, who's number 3?
Oh, that's, is that Edgeshot?
I think so.
The ninja hero?
Yeah. Let's see.
Google it.
Let's see if we can find it faster. He's number 4 pro hero right now.
Oh, Edgeshot.
Or if one of the students will do it. Like, if one of the... But they're all at school, or wait, is it a weekend right now in this series, in the, like, universe?
Well, they're all there.
No, we only see some of them.
Oh, okay. Current rank, number 3, Best Jeanist. Yeah, he's not going to do anything.
He still has it. Even though he's
Yeah,
hurt.
so number 4 is Edgeshot.
Okay.
So number 3 is Best Jeanist. Number 4 is Edgeshot.
I think so. Is that High End's not wearing any clothes? What will Best Jeanist do even if he wasn't injured?
Yeah,
Just be naked.
I'm taking your costume for my own gain.
Yeah.
He uses his denim, doesn't he? That's why he wears so much of it.
Yep.
He can use his own clothes.
Yep. And he could even, like, I guess he can, if he can change the density of it, he could even use it as a shield a bit.
Yeah. I'd like to see all of the other top 10. So, the Rabbit Hero.
Oh, I hope she
I'd see her, but she expressed explicitly that team-ups are for weaklings.
Yeah. Then she might show up just because, like, she's, like, if she wants to prove herself.
Yeah.
So
we don't know the areas they come from either.
Yeah.
Cammy Woods, actually, we know near where UA is.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen him near Izuku before.
Yeah.
At the first episode. Wash, we don't know where he is. I'd like to see the Shield Hero Crust.
Oh, yeah.
Just because he gives me some Tolkien vibes.
Yeah, and he makes me think of Kirishima a lot. Like, he seems like Kirishima's kind of hero.
Oh, no, he's not the Shield Hero Crust. He's the Armoured Hero.
Oh, whoops.
The Armoured Hero gives us Tolkien vibes.
Ah, okay. Let's see.
Either of them would be good to work with Kirishima. Either the Armoured Hero or Shield Hero. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Shield Hero is the one who cried, saying, "All might," when he was given the mic.
Yeah. He seems like a nice old man. Oh, or Gran Torino, but they're not where Gran Torino is, right?
So you don't think Endeavor's dead either?
I don't think he's dead. I'm just more wondering how they're gonna get out of this. I think a pro hero or a new pro hero will appear, and you think that he's gonna leave.
Imagine if they can control the Black Nomu.
Yeah.
And it's Shigaraki who turns up and is like, "I'll save you all."
Oh, he just decides to be like an anti-villain, like a true anti-villain. Or, yeah, or right, anti-villain? I know, anti-hero. Just be an anti-hero. And be like, the heroes won't do their jobs, so I guess I'll have to do it, even though I'm the one who sicked this on everybody. You remember how there was that really big hero, that really big villain that was listening to the radio? If they brought him back to, if High End wouldn't listen because he's so smart and he kind of like, no, I don't want to do what you guys say, they have to make, like, the big guy fight him.
I don't remember which one he is.
He's also you remember in Kirishima's flashback when there's the villain that kind of got directed away by,
Yes, by Mina.
By her. People are thinking that maybe that one is the same as... Oh, okay, I need to look up the League of Villains. Because I don't think he's named yet, but we saw him kind of recently, as he was talking about, like, oh, he's really powerful.
With Gran Torino fought him, and they couldn't catch him, but I think they said that they did defeat him.
Yeah.
And we've had flashbacks to his silhouette before when All For One is talking about his proteges.
Yeah.
So people are thinking that he's part of the League of Villains, or he once was, and then he went off to do his own mysterious thing.
Yeah. So maybe he'll appear? I don't know. Oh, Gigantomachia? Oh, he doesn't have a name.
Gigantomachia.
Yeah. He sounds like something from Gundam. But I don't know why he would appear. I was just thinking of a big guy who could fight stuff.
I don't know what we don't know enough about him, but I can't see what his motive would be.
Yeah, just being ordered to. Because he does whatever his radio tells him.
Ah, could be.
I know people think he might be Kirishima's dad or something, or they used to.
Oh, Kirishima, I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope his sad backstory is just the one that we got.
Yes. If Kirishima was the traitor, my heart would break into a million pieces.
That would need some intense backstory.
Yeah.
To convince people.
Well, I know one person is doing an AU on Twitter of what if like Kirishima was evil, but then he like met Bakugo and kind of turned good, but he was kind of like barely even evil. It was more like misunderstood. Oh, it's the same person who does the awesome drawings with like Dragon Kirishima. Oh my god.
So he got turned good by the power of love.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like Crib. Oh, I'm sorry, person. Oh no. Okay, no, crabbing. Haha, I found it. At crab, CRABBNG has really cool drawings, and they did a cool evil, or not like villain, slightly Kirishima. I'm not. They post a bunch of stuff, but they're awesome. Sorry for that random sideline.
It's okay. I think that might be the end of our recap now.
Yeah, I think that's good. How'd you like, or let's just do a quick yay chapter or no chapter?
Yay chapter.
Yay chapter. I think it was good. I also just realized that has this the longest we've gone without seeing Deku? That it's been 2 chapters? 2 or 3?
Oh, no, we've seen him. Oh. We saw his face in that little corner.
Okay. Yeah.
We've seen a face.
So we went 1 chapter without Deku, right?
Did we see him in when they were going through the lineup?
Oh.
We might not have seen it. It might be 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
When they were going through the new pro hero list.
Oh yeah.
Billboard.
He might have been watching it. I don't know. I feel like at least last chapter we didn't see him. So it's been at least 1.
Even if it's only 2 or 3 chapters, it's the longest.
Yeah, because it's like, and it's still going on strong. I think it's like a good kind of like test of a series of seeing like how well can they go without focusing on their main lead and kind of letting the supporting characters shine. So, I don't know. I don't like Endeavor that much, but I don't want him dead. I don't know.
He's got room to grow.
He's got room to grow.
He's not there yet.
Yeah.
Imagine if he gets to number 1 hero and he's only there for like a week.
Yeah, he might have the quickest turnaround.
To end his hero career. What would he do after that? If he's not a hero, who is he? What does he do?
He can go like during the winter when you need like heat, he can just go to homeless shelters and provide free heat.
Warm them up. Oh, I wonder if maybe he can't fight and then he thinks, what can I do now? I've spent all my life on this goal. And now it's gone.
Yeah. I
had it for a week and now it's gone.
Yeah. He got his dream, but like where do you go from there? And now like once you lose it, I gotta get it back again. Or he would focus more on Todoroki.
Hawks would get his goal. He would move up to number 1.
Yeah. But like no, I think
we don't trust Hawks. It's too much for him for the Black Nomu to turn up right at their discussion when they're together.
About Nomu.
Yeah, it's too coincidental.
But like, I guess he did Big Feathers somehow. Maybe he'll do like a super big feather and like cleanly slice and dice the high end.
But we don't know if he can merge his feathers or how long it takes him to regenerate new ones, because he said once he's used up all his feathers, he can't do much.
Or he can't fly. Maybe he has like a super combine all the feathers final move.
Ultimate feather.
Yes, and it's just like, which weighs more, a ton of feathers or a ton of rocks? And the Cayenne's smart, so he's kind of like, they both weigh a ton, and then he just like, you're dead.
Aww.
I don't know. I don't feel sad for High End.
I just think Hawks is a villain.
Yeah.
And he'll just sort of like walk it off. Just I saved casualties.
Yeah. But okay, I remember what I was kind of thinking is that Endeavor is a lot smarter than I thought he was. I kind of thought him as a dumb jock a bit, but he's kind of like keeping track of the amount of powers and like, I don't know.
That's a lot to be thinking in that situation. Though it does show that he's very intelligent. Mm-hmm. And he's noticing all of them, he's keeping track.
But not smart enough to just get a sidekick who has ice powers. You can blast him. Because, I guess, I don't know how much the chapter is trying to excuse him being like, oh, he did all this because he wanted, to make up for his own faults and, in his quirk. But then it's like, we already kind of knew that, or like kind of implied we knew he wanted to make a pro-hero.
So even if he had a sidekick that could help cool him down, I don't know if he would have brought his sidekicks with him to that meeting.
Yeah.
Because I doubt he would have suspected that he'd be in this massive fight and it might be his last. So he'd probably just go on his own.
I just mean in general, like instead of trying to create the super baby, he should have done that. I guess probably he tried and it wasn't good enough, or like he didn't. He wants to rely on himself. He wanted to beat back then All Might by himself, by his own means. And then when he couldn't, he's like, if I can't do it, then something that's I'm gonna like live through is gonna do it.
Yeah. So I think that's the end of our manga recap.
Now let's do our round out, and we can say I'm Kendra. You can follow me at Sniper of My Heart. I also have a Tumblr. It's at Words Dear. I don't know if you want to follow that though.
Yeah, and I'm Sophie. You can follow me at Chopper's Antlers. If you want to follow us again, we have an email. If you have some longer questions, that email is myheropod@gmail.com, and it's the same handle for Twitter, but it's MHA Pod. So you can email us with questions or help, would be appreciated.
Yes, if you have any guidance on how to podcast.
Yes, please advise us.
Just, I don't know, don't yell at us too much. But a little bit's okay.
Okay.
Anyways, signing off. Don't forget to go beyond plus ultra.
Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the One.
See?
I'm gonna delete that.
Yeah, that's my. I was just listening to them today too. That's partially why too.
Yes. Right, I'm gonna close this window. Yes. Because I don't know if you can hear it, but there's some dogs.
I just heard them.
Who are unhappy with their life. There's a vet round the corner. And we don't usually hear dogs because it's not a very dog-friendly area. But tonight, there's all the dogs.
The dogs are who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
New and vet. And then we go to Endeavour in a very, very, very fancy teacher's room with a TV that looks like a microwave.
Erase your head. You said Endeavour. You said Endeavour.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, what? I was like, sorry. Like, Gran Torino's usually...
Gran Torino's in Hosu.
Yeah, and they're not in Hosu.
Oh, no, he's not in Hosu. They travelled to Hosu on the train. Because there wasn't very much crime going on near where Gran Torino was. Mm-hmm. So he's not from Hosu. I am wrong.
Yeah.
So this week we're doing episode 50 of My Hero Academia. It's end of the beginning of the end, and it's episode 12 of season 3.
Yes, and it covers manga chapters 95 through to 97.
And so let's get right into it. Mm-hmm. It's before the theme song, before the opening plays, it does the previously on a little bit. We see Deku crying, we see Bakuro's reaction, and it kind of cuts to the police station talking about how the Nomus are the same as previously captured. There's no human reactions and not likely to get any new information about them. And since the warehouse was destroyed, you can't really get any further information.
So quickly through.
It goes really quick, and it does really small text too.
Yeah. One of the bits from here when they were talking about because the warehouse was destroyed, so they couldn't find anything there. In the manga, one of the gentleman there states that they think that the location might have been a decoy because the environment didn't look like it was a good place to do testing on humans, and also because it was so easy to find. So it was really quickly brought up that maybe Nomus were created somewhere else and then moved there for that purpose, but that doesn't feature in the anime at all. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if they said there's a few bits that don't feature, but that I thought was quite a big thing, because if they've got another main base somewhere else, then to move them there shows like a little bit of extra planning. But I wonder if maybe they spoke to Horikoshi and asked that question, and he said no, it doesn't mean anything, and so they cut it out for that. But it was only a small thing.
Yeah, but still, it makes the department or heroes, what do you call it? The League of Villains look at least a little smarter in the manga. Like in the anime, it's like kind of like, oh yeah, they were there. And I double checked. Yeah, it's the Metropolitan Police Department. And later we see All Might. And I'm not sure if he's in the police department as well.
I think he's in the hospital.
Yeah, I didn't see.
Because it looks like he's in a hospital and he's still got his bandages on, and that appears to be a hospital bed to me. I know yeah, I think he's in the hospital at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the one member of the police department who had that one long curly hair.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like how sometimes they draw children in cartoons. They've got that one long hair that sticks up and then curls at the end.
You think I wrote down one guy has Armstrong hair. It's just one big curl. And he looks like a baby.
He does look like a baby. The discussion was interesting though. I liked when they brought up the guy that said, one of the policemen said it was a draw, and the other one said, no, you're being so stupid, we've lost. And then I started thinking, how is Shigaraki seeing it? Because he must see it as a loss. So I guess it's to both sides, but the hero and the police side are really feeling like they've lost as well.
Because both sides kind of lost their heads. They lost their symbols. But the hero side doesn't really know that Deku is the next symbol of peace. And also, he's just a kid still. Like, he's not ready to be the symbol of peace. Well, Shigaraki at least is older and, like, kind of prepared.
Yeah.
The symbol of evil, or whatever you want to say that he is.
And they mentioned it as well with him saying that he's gone from being someone quite childish to, as he takes more blows, he's becoming quite cultivated in his actions. They're a lot further along. He's got much longer plans to them rather than just we'll attack them here, we'll attack them there.
Yeah.
It's more formulaic.
He kind of realized that he can get this far, and like the public shows that he can get this far just by gathering idiots. It's the power of friendship. He's matured, less technical actions. Every time they fail, they get stronger. And it's hard to tell how much they planned and how much wasn't, or whether or not, like, hindsight's 2020. And I like how they kind of note that police are being called the villain reception.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like, that's what the cops are now with the heroes, basically. Like, they can work and gather intel, but in the end, they're just like a storage facility.
Yeah, and they mentioned that they need to reform so they can just stop being so passive, really.
Yeah. And All Might, we cut to All Might in the hospital, or wherever he is. All Might says the embers have gone out. The symbol of peace is dead. Covered in bandages, he's talking to Sukauchi. I don't know his name. Gran Torino. But still, there's something he must do.
I like that when he's talking about his regret with Shigaraki, All Might's pupils in this episode do a lot. So when he's talking to Gran Torino about how regretful he is, his pupils are pulsating. So you can his eyes aren't really teary because they're so black behind the very small blue pupils, but you can show that he's regretful and he's upset because they're pulsating. And then after Gran Torino says to him, no, you need to carry on as All Might, even though you've lost your ability, you've still got things you need to do, referring to Izuku. His eyes stop pulsing, maybe to show that he's made up his mind and he realises that it's right.
I wonder, like, when All Might says there's something he needs to do, at that point he's thinking about Shigaraki, but it's not, as you mentioned, it's nice that Gran Torino kind of focuses back and, wait, like, Deku.
Yeah.
Like, being a teacher is what you need to focus on, not, like, revenge, fatherhood, or whatever you want to do to Shigaraki.
And that brings him out of his sadness. But it was interesting, maybe Gran Torino being that much older, because Gran Torino knew Nana before, so he has that longer history with her, so you'd think maybe his emotional connection might be a little bit deeper, but he's like, no, we need to do the right thing, this guy's still a criminal.
And her cop friend, whose name I cannot pronounce, I'm very sorry, kind of focuses back on saying, like, leave looking for Nana, like, looking for leave looking for Shigaraki to me, and kind of like talking about the fact, like, how did they not know, and, like, talking about how, like, talking about how Nana specifically said, don't get involved with my family, and, like, her husband was killed, and I wonder if was that just random villain, or was that all for one? I don't know.
Yeah, it's still very unclear. And then it cuts then to, oh sorry, did you have anything more to say on that bit?
Oh no, sorry, go ahead.
I know, it cuts to Izuku and the group saying that they're handing over, he calls him Kachan rather than Bakugo again, saying they were handing him over and how quiet he was. This is just a short scene, but in the manga, it's only a few panels, and it shows the departure of the group. And it's only very small, but I guess it's a little bit more of character development that we don't see there, because Ida's very stiff, and he's just kind of awkwardly waving, saying right to them as he goes. Kirishima's very happy, waving, thanking everyone. Momo's there, she's got her arms folded, she's kind of organising everyone, talking to Izuku, Kirishima, and Shoto, saying, "You three, you need to go straight home." And there's
Ida still has his mustache on. Like,
yes.
But Ida's like, no, this is permanently stuck to my face.
It suits him.
And it's weird to see Bakugo so quiet.
Yeah, especially I guess with the moving scene, he's not even looking back, he's just looking down as he goes. Yeah. I think when we cut to Shoto or Todoroki, what would be the best thing to call him?
Todoroki, I think.
Yeah. When we go to his house, I think we see 3 people's houses in this episode. We see his house, we see Bakugo's house, and we see Izuku's house. And Jiro, so 4 of them. So Shoto, Jiro, and Bakugo come from quite affluent families, it looks like. They've all 3 of them have got houses. And then it shows Izuku in his little flat with his mum. And I think that's just an interesting juxtaposition to show that he's come from a very different background, so it's probably another reason why he really wants to help people.
And when we go to Todoroki's house, we meet his sister for the first time in the anime. And she has white hair with red flecks. And she says something crazy is happening. She's worried he didn't respond to texts after he went to go see his mom. And he says sorry. We hear pounding in the distance. Endeavor is throwing a hissy fit. It shows freshly kicked off loafers and they're really tiny blue shoes. Are those Todoroki's shoes?
No. So I saw a bit about this in last week when in the manga. For last week, people were saying that in the flashback to this scene in the manga, you can see 4 pairs of shoes on the floor. So they're thinking that the Todoroki, the 4th, the other son, the 3rd son, so the second in line, that he must live there because of the shoes. So people have used that, but in this episode we don't see them, and it only shows the 2 shoes, which I'm assuming are his sisters from the size and the colour, the light blue, and the bigger loafers being Endeavor's. So I think they're just shown to show that it's just the sister, Endeavor and Todoroki, that live there at the moment. I think that's why they were shown.
Yeah, I'm just surprised, they looked so small that I was like, kid shoes? But I guess it makes sense that they're her shoes and he just has big feet.
Yeah, he's a big guy, isn't he?
Yeah. And Todoroki walks down the hallway. If All Might can't stay in the front lines anymore, in the position of number 1, and we flash back to his dad hitting him so hard he threw up.
Oh.
It's to see burning training rooms, stuff thrown all over the place, and we learned that Endeavor's quirk is called Hellflame. And that just makes me wonder, does he name it himself? Like, where do they get the quirk names from? I think they just come up with it, whatever sounds cool.
Yeah, I think when they have to register when the quirk comes up, so I wonder if they can apply for names, or if and it may be if they're too ridiculous. But as the quirks progress, I think you can change the names as well, because you can update your quirk as well. I think once or twice was mentioned when Izuku had to go and register his. So maybe they can change it if they get a name they don't like or something.
Endeavor became a hero. He's like, wait, I want to aspire. I need to be scary. And Endeavor's like, I can't accept it, not like this. And it cuts away to Deku's mom saying, welcome home. And first thing she says is, All Might had a hard time, right? Because she knows how worried Deku is. And she said, he must have had a hard time getting home. And, you can see, I feel like it's always interesting whenever we see the scar on Deku's hand, because it kind of, focuses on that a little bit. And what will happen now? He falls asleep in bed, and he gets a text or a phone call and runs out.
So going back to Izuku's mum, she doesn't know that he was involved. I wonder if she does find out at some point.
That's what I'm not sure if she, would the media wouldn't be there yet at that point.
No, they weren't seen, so I don't think anyone knows that they were there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, especially when we see the mum see her get so upset later on, I think if she had seen, she would have responded initially quite differently when he came back.
True. And we cut he goes to Dagoba Municipal Beach Park, which is where Deku trained and cleaned up before. It just bugs me so much that there's unfinished graffiti or like chalk drawings. So there's an unfinished tic-tac-toe game, and then there's like the Japanese kind of the thing where you do like a couple, you draw an umbrella and a heart, and you write their name underneath it. It just bugs me that it's not finished. I'm like, please finish your chalk drawings.
Terrible criminals.
Yeah. I think it's chalk. I'm not sure if it's chalk or it's spray paint.
I'm not sure. I did notice that as well. That's another feature that just something that's been quickly added in that isn't in the manga, but I did like it. Because the Dagobah Beach is supposed to be, it's just sort of left to its own devices, maybe a little bit neglected, and that's just a little bit of extra detail that I really liked.
Going there as well now.
Yes.
All Might standing on Empty King Beach.
Oh, I love this run up.
Yes, Deku running out. All Might running to him. Like, it took so long. We get a glittery running to each other. All Might can make saying a state scary. Texas smash! And he punches Deku in the face. All Might coughs up blood. And Deku's face is amazing as he gets punched. And he falls to the ground. And All Might's kind of like getting mad at him. You really don't keep your word, do you? Everything was almost in vain, you know? Because really, if All For One had acted and like gotten Deku, it would have been the end. And like, who do you take after? You take her after All Might.
This scene really reminded me of Might Guy and Rock Lee from Naruto. The light in the background and they're running up, and then the mentor, the sensei, just hits them. It's like, no! And then they have that big reconciliation afterwards, and there's tears.
It says, young Midoriya, I am effectively retired. My body can't fight anymore. It's the first time I kind of teared up this episode. Deku cradles Chi. He looks like he's going to cry. And All Might busts out, throws a few punches, and then he, like, deflates, coughs up blood, and Deku screams. And he reiterates that the last embers are one for all went out. You can't keep muscle form anymore. If you still rush out every time, no matter what I tell you, destroy your body. And this time, Deku flinches. I don't know if he thinks he's going to get hit again, or if he's just scared of the yelling.
Yeah.
And this time he got out of a predicament for the first time without getting injured. I was so happy. Oh! And then he, like, does the cutest thing in the world, which crouches down, puts his arm on his shoulder, and, like, puts his head over his hand, like, backwards. And it looks so crazy. It's just like, it's just like, I mean, it's not a hug, it's like I don't know how to call that, but...
He, even in his skeletal version, he still looks so much bigger.
Yeah.
So much bigger than him.
Yeah. And he says he will devote self to raising Deku, keep working hard together. Deku cries. I always love, like, when Deku cries, it's always huge. And All Might says, you really don't keep your word, do you? All Might cries, which I think that's the first time we've seen All Might cry.
It's not in the manga, that one little tear that we see. That's not in the manga, it's just been added on.
I kind of like that the anime did that. We actually get to see him cry.
I liked it as well, and it's not like it's a big cry. It's just the one single tear I think that we see down Izuku's shoulder. So he doesn't see that he cries, but we see.
Yeah, and didn't I tell you to stop being a crybaby? Didn't I tell you to stop being a crybaby? Deku just wails harder.
And then it cuts to the break, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and he says he realizes it's the end of an era for All Might, and we learn that All Might likes Yakushima cedars, a big ancient tree, and I guess like he's 72, so he's like a big tree himself.
Yeah.
So, like, I like it. It's like And at the eye catch, we get a split update for Best Jeanist and Ragdoll. Both of them are alive. Best Jeanist won't work for a while, and Ragdoll can't use her quirk. And we learn Best Jeanist is called Fiber Master.
I thought that was such a quick way to do it, because you could almost blink and you miss it, whereas I'm going to keep comparing it to the manga, sorry. But in the manga, it's a page where it tells you what's going on. It tells you, with the narrator being the news person, and it says that Best Jeanist is not going to be working for a long time because of his injuries, and Ragdoll has lost her quirk. But we also find out that she was number 32 in the hero polls, which is quite high up there, especially as being part of a group. And we also see a very devastated picture of the Pussycat Dolls holding Ragdoll. She cries, and then a sad Kota in the background hiding sort of behind the door, watching what's going on.
I hope the animator kind of touched back on that because it was so fast here. Like, I think they have to show it again.
Yeah, it was so quick. I was surprised that they cut out and they didn't even focus on it at all.
Yeah. And then we see at a meeting at UA with Blood King Vlad, Aizawa, All Might, and Nezu. I thought Nezu's in a wheelchair at first, but it's just his chair. He says, "Thank you, All Might, for you've sacrificed your body for thousands. I thank you as a citizen, a hero, and a principal." And we kind of get later on, Deku's mom does the same thing. There's many who think he should retire as a teacher. That UA keeps getting attacked just because All Might's there, and the kids will keep getting caught up in it even more now they can't fight. We must make strong the faith in heroes passed on like a torch from All Might. Because the threat's still out there, they have to change. Just like the cops are changing now, UA needs to change.
I called that bit from Nezu. I wrote it down as the shit sandwich. Have you heard of that before in, not necessarily in like business terms, but even in like schooling, when you're, as like a manager or something, when you're giving someone bad criticism, you're supposed to say a good thing first and then a bad thing, a good thing after.
Yeah. I like... Kind of like, bad, good thing in the middle.
Yeah, so it's like, thank you for what you've done. We really appreciate it. And then in the middle, there are concerns though. People think that the students are going to be more at risk because you're here and you can't do anything to protect them. But we'll all work hard to bring faith back.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I like that he's like, I don't know, he's very smart. And we can see that even in other stuff besides his scary laughter.
Yes.
He's just fighting kids.
The bit in the middle did make me question him as the traitor where he mentions it, but it's only very brief, and I guess you would have to mention it anyway. Mm-hmm. But I think anything at this point makes me think people could be traitors.
I don't think he's the traitor. No. Like, honestly, anything could happen. I have nothing to surprise me in this thing.
No. He does cut out Vlad in the manga, so he says something. It's only quite short. But I mean, at least he says something. No, he just stands there. Whereas in the chapter we see him. So it's gone on to chapter 96 now at the start of this. But we see he just puts his hand over his chest to his heart, like he's really speaking from inside. And he says that him and the other heroes, they didn't realise the great burden that they were placing on All Might's shoulders, where he was still carrying everyone's faith in heroes. And then Nezu goes back to saying that they all need to start implementing the plans he's been thinking about for a while.
Yeah, and I wonder, sorry to go back to it, but Vlad, like, is he the only teacher for Class B? Because at least like Class A has All Might and Aizawa, but
no, I think no, he's not. So All Might's the teacher for the hero lessons specifically in the combat. But Aizawa and Vlad are the homeroom teachers. Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Because we call them something different. We have houses in the UK, like in Hogwarts, or in my school anyway. Most schools. Yeah, we have houses. So your form room will be your head of house. Yeah.
I guess also we have like President Mike is the English teacher. Cementos. I don't know.
No, I can't remember what Aizawa teaches either, but I think he's just their homeroom, if I'm using the right word. I think he's just their homeroom, like their form tutor, and he takes them for when they have to do the register in the morning, and if there's the sports day, telling them those sorts of things. And then he's got his actual teaching duties as well, but I'm not sure what lessons he does take.
I don't know. I worry though that this is for the manga though, so we'll cut it out, but I wonder when we go into second year, is Aizawa not going to be their teacher anymore?
I'd like to think he'd stay on. Otherwise, it wouldn't really make sense to meet someone new each year when the teachers already know so much about them.
Also, I think I know for where I am, the teachers change every year, but I think Japan might be different. I know the homeroom teacher is really, really important. So I wonder if they keep them as they move along. I don't know. I might try looking it up later.
Our version of homeroom teachers, the head of house and things, they stayed the same unless obviously there was sickness or pregnancy or they left or something.
Oh, okay.
Because they also, I think their job as well is to, if you're getting trouble or anything, if they need to call someone's parents or if someone gets ill at school, or if there's compassionate reasons, it would be the homeroom or the head of house teacher that would deal with that.
Yeah. So I guess for high school for us, it's more like you don't really have your homeroom teacher isn't as important in high school because you kind of just have random teachers throughout the day and you kind of go from class to class.
I hope he stays. I think it's interesting as well that all the kids seem to know Ozawa's name, but I haven't heard anyone call All Might by his name. It's just All Might.
Yeah, it's only really Gran Torino who called, and his cop friend who called. Or actually, no, only Gran Torino calls him Toshinori. I don't think his cop friend does. Because he's very much he's just a symbol. So, I guess when people would talk to him, they're just so used to just All Might to him. Because, probably, even when Eraserhead started out, All Might was already there.
Yeah.
As, a big hero. Because we don't know how old All Might is. It just seems forever, even though he's not. But they know that.
I'm guessing he's older than Ozawa.
I think so.
Yeah.
He's probably in his 50s or something.
40s or 50s, because Ozawa's in his 30s.
Yeah. And I just want to know, Eraserhead looks bored a little bit in the meeting, or just it's hard to, I don't know, Eraserhead always has interesting expressions.
I think he's just very stoic. I think in the last episode and this one and probably the future ones to come, I think he's like with Vlad said, where they don't realise the burden All Might's been carrying, and Ozawa gave him so much stick before, saying, he's just showboating for the media, blah blah blah. I think maybe he's reconsidering his opinions on things, and so while he does that, he's just been quiet.
Mm-hmm. And we learned that, I don't know if you mentioned it yet, Nezu is going to introduce dorms, and the teachers have to go to their families to convince them. And we cut to a very modern-looking building, and we hear a guy saying, "No, it's not very rocking."
Oh, I love him.
You're going to introduce dorms after my daughter was injured, even though it wasn't that serious, and you're going to act like nothing happened. And I was all up in a bun. Forever.
He's such a hipster.
I know, I love him. I love it so much. And he says, "You're right. Looking at the pride and negligence, will you leave it to us just this once? We will definitely raise Kyoka to be a fine hero." The second time I cried.
I couldn't tell if he's bowing his head or not, or if he's just having his head down because he looks ashamed. I think he's bowing his head as he's apologising.
He's semi-bowing because Jiro comes out with her deep-filled shirt saying, "You don't have to bow." And I love the detail that, and I think it's in the manga as well, she uses her earlobes to open and shut the door because her hands are full.
Yes.
And they already decided what to do once the governor was in the mail. And her dad's like, "I can't believe my daughter's being taught by someone so rocking." You notice that she gets the earlobes from the mom. And seriously, Brian the son, the dad's like, "I can't believe it's so cool." And I think those are the people who sing one of the openings for the anime.
The mum's so stoic in the background while he's just outrageous.
And, the dad just wants to act like a strict dad. He yells at him to shut up. Eraserhead is just like, what is happening right now? And the mom says to stop. You two are not allowed a punk rock concert.
If there's a party, Jiro's mum is going to be the life and soul of that. She's stoic now. She's sitting there quietly. She has a few beers or a few sakes. She's going to be on the table.
Yep, have fun. You're right. Eraserhead says he's prepared to face more criticism, and he whispers "Oh, buy All Might. I'll buy you a drink, All Might."
I like that All Might says that he can't drink. I'm guessing because of where he's missing his stomach, and there's probably some liver damage as well. He says that he can't drink, not that he doesn't. So again, it's bringing back to his injuries.
And also maybe the fact that, back when he had his quirk, if he drank too much, he was too strong. But I think it is mainly the no stomach thing.
Oh.
And the next house won't be easy. And I just want to say, we talked about God's house. His house is big and, has, round curvy bits to it.
It is. I thought his house was because we don't know. We know what Jiro's parents do. So the dad's in a band and the mum was the manager. And I think we know about Bakugo's parents that they met in an office and the mum hit it up. The mum was really heavily hitting on Bakugo's dad.
I think they're both in fashion.
Oh.
I think so. I know the mom's in fashion, but I don't know if the dad is. The dad might be putting that in the office.
Yeah.
And they both parents have very spiky hair, just like Bakugo, so he really had no hope for having normal hair.
when we saw their house, I thought for a second it was flats, but then I referred back to the manga and it heads into his the plaque outside the house saying that it's the Bakugo household.
Mhm.
So I thought, oh, this is a big house.
Yeah.
Everyone, but Izuku's got a big old house.
And it's really close to you. This is mostly like flats and like nearby is kind of like a suburb area or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bakugo's mom slaps him on the head. She says, "Sure, I'm counting on you." And Bakugo, "Don't hit me, old lady. I'll kill you." Oh, Bakugo.
And she says, "Oh, it's your fault for being weak."
Yeah, just like that is so harsh. That is so hard to say to your kid, even though Bakugo is a bit of a shit sometimes. I
Yeah.
guess, like, I don't know, it's weird to kind of, like, I don't know.
And even
Dad,
even when the husband chimes in saying like, "Oh, you're making them nervous," she tells him off as well as Bakugo. She says, "Oh no, if you're gonna say something, make sure we can all hear him."
and I'm like, what is with the darkness in this house?
Yes.
And she forces Bakugo to bow. She says he's reckless and really good at everything, blessed with a good quirk, so others fawned over him, so end up like this. And I just want to say, like, you're the one who raised him. Maybe you should have done something about that. Like, I don't know, she can't place all the blame on him and like everyone else. It's like, no, you raised him, maybe you should have done a better job. Bakugo was pissed. He kept getting praised for shallow stuff. She's happy that at the press conference the Razorhead like kind of realized what Bakugo was all about. That he's a good kid and like he's trying his best to be a pro hero.
Yeah, but it gets easily misinterpreted.
Yeah.
Because he tells everyone to die.
Yes, all the time. I'm like, no. He needs to have like a murder jar. Every time he tells someone he's gonna kill them, he has to put $1 in the murder jar until he goes broke. Then he'll stop threatening to kill people.
I think we should create a murder jar for him and use that money to buy speakers or buy recording equipment.
Yes, I'm going to make a note of this. A murder jar every time.
I think I'll put £1 in the murder jar in the manga and the anime every time.
He's going to go broke.
Starting from now, I'm not, or maybe when we re-watch the anime and talk about it, I'll start putting pounds in then, but I'm not going back and adding them all in.
I'm just trying to go safer because Bakugo, as we've seen this episode, he's kind of calming down a little bit. So maybe I won't be completely. Actually, I won't be broke, or I won't like have all. Like I don't know. We'll see. But I like the idea of a murder jar.
Murder jar, it's a thing now.
Yeah. Hashtag murder jar. Please don't do that. Where were we?
Episode title.
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say, after that bit, when they go outside and All Might says to us, I'll buy you a drink this time, I don't really understand what the I'll buy you a drink, no, I'll buy you one, what that's relating to.
I guess it's because, like, it was that like, house was so shocking and kind of, like, interesting to see.
Oh.
Okay, I'll buy you a drink to recover.
Yeah.
And it's like, the mom's been doing them all the time, but she, like, kind of pets him on the head a little bit. I'm like, oh, thank you, that's nice. But then she makes him bow again.
She calms down so quick.
Yeah, I guess they're very similar, Bakugo and his mom. They're both very much, like, big personalities. So I think he really takes after his mom, and maybe, like, he gets a lot of his smarts from his dad, even though his mom's also smart. But we know Bakugo's, like, they're really smart. So it's nicer to see he was quieter this episode, and it's like, okay, maybe he gets that from his dad. His
dad must have a headache all the time. Just constantly popping those paracetamols.
Giving him a drink. And next is Midoriya's house.
Oh, no. The only thing I want to talk about, the Bakugo when he goes outside. And he asks All Might what Midoriya is to him. I like Bakugo's walk. I think they make it purposely very clumpy. Maybe to show that he's nervous or something, but it's very, very clumpy to me.
Yeah, and his calm face made me cry again, because he's worried about Deku, or he knows something's up with Deku. So he's like, what is Deku to you? And Razorhead can clearly hear him, and he's just like, it's a secret, but he doesn't know. And All Might kind of pauses for a second, not really long enough to be awkward, and he says, he's my student, just like you, a future hero with bright prospects. I think in Japanese, he calls it instead of eggs, so like an egg that's gonna like grow.
Because that's Gran Torino's thing. He used to call them all fetuses or something.
Yeah.
But in this bit, I have so many notes on All Might's pupils for this episode. When he's lying to Bakugo, you can't see his pupils at all. I guess to show that he's regretting that he has to lie to him. He wants to hide those emotions from him. But we don't see any pupils there when he's talking to him.
He says, "Sorry, Bakugo, I can't tell you anymore."
Mm.
And we hear the mom yell, "The cops said not to go outside." And he says, "I see. If you don't want to tell me, that's fine." And then he very quietly, facing away, says, "Thanks." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Aw."
I wonder if All Might must have heard that, but it's such a thanks, and then just slumps off in again.
And she yells him again. He yells back, "I know." All Might's going to go by himself to Midoriya's because he needs to cover the whole class, but basically he doesn't want Razorhead to be there.
No. I think this is another note where All Might's his pupils change again, and they go into that the sort of upside down smile, just the white smile as he's sort of like lying and trying to be like, no, it's fine, you go, I can do this on my own.
Yeah, he's not a good liar.
No.
And then at Midoriya's house, Inko and Deku are super nervous, like, "Oh my, he's in our house." But Deku, imagine Superman coming to your house. Like, I don't know, I couldn't imagine, like someone like an idol of mine coming to your house and being a real person, and like my mom knowing that I admire this person and being like, "What the fuck was happening?"
Yeah, and Deku tells his mum to keep calm when he's just as frantic. And his blue shirt as well, apparently on it just says dress shirt. That's the writing on it to make him even more plain, dress shirt.
I think someone, or Caleb tweeted out saying like, "Uniqlo, make it happen." I would buy a shirt that said dress shirt. So it's amazing. All Might peeks into Deku's room, which is covered in All Might stuff. He does a sweat drop. And at the table there are 4 chairs, which seems like a lot for a family of 2, but I guess it's for guests.
Yeah.
A little weird. I don't know.
I would have a table for 4 because I miss. You're assuming that when you're younger, you want your friends, your kids' friends and things to come over until you find out that your kids' friends is Bakugo, and then you want them nowhere near. Oh, sorry, it's only set for 2. Off you go.
Hide the chairs away. I don't think he'd want to come over, to be honest. And then she's like, I don't know. She says she's against the dorms. She cuts right to the chase. Oh no, I guess like first All Might kind of talks about what they want to do, kind of going over what they sent over, and she says she's against the dorms. Deku is shocked since just yesterday she was all for it.
Yeah.
And she thought about it and didn't like it.
She seems very tentative at first, and then she gets some real determination. She said that she would need nerves of steel if she was going to let him go.
Yeah.
And you can see it in her eyes that at that point she's very determined to not let him go.
Yeah, and she doesn't want him to go down that same path. Future filled with blood. She's grateful as a citizen, but scared as a parent. And we get a very cute flashback to baby Deku, them playing Hero together. And she thinks Deku would have been happier corkless and just watching Heroes. But I don't think he would have. He wanted to be Hero so badly even without a quirk.
Yeah. It's a very emotive scene. You can really feel the tension there. And I don't think there's any music in the background either. With the crying in Dagobah Beach, there's some great music in the background, but here there's none at all. But I guess there's the flashbacks.
Yeah. And as a result of ignoring his mother's feelings for so long, she mentions the nerves of steel. She doesn't feel like she's not strong enough to entrust her son to Yue. She's crying and shaking, but she's still firm. Like she's staring down the symbol of peace. It doesn't matter how wonderful of a hero you are. Like you let all this stuff happen. I don't want my kid attending.
The final bit, where she says that she doesn't want him to attend. That's the end of chapter 96, and this is where it crosses over to 97.
I thought I knew there was a chapter cut in there. There went a bit where we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, this last 10 minutes or so is just one chapter.
Yeah, very intense. And Deku yells, it's my own fault. The teachers told me over and over I didn't listen to them. But she responds, it's still the school's responsibility. And All Might's also standing up. Everyone's standing up, and she's sitting down. All Might can sit down. And she says, I don't care if I'm acting like a monster parent. I'm fine being a monster. I don't want to steal his dreams. You can go to a different hero school. And Deku runs out of the room. And All Might's like, oh, you look at me so much. You'd be heartbroken. He's like, going to the same school as me has such meaning. And she says she'll go get him. But Deku's already back holding the letter, saying it's fine if it isn't UA. He got the letter from Koda, which I think we've seen. We've definitely seen it before.
We saw it mentioned quickly. But we hadn't seen. Had we seen him receive it? Oh, I can't remember.
I think so.
But we know that he'd written a letter.
Because we get the sorry for punching you in the balls
Yes.
the top of the letter. And I know we've seen that before, so I think we might have seen it really quick. But it's just so important because for that instant, like that boy and that letter made him a hero, like he will become a hero. And All Might thinking to himself, you already are. He buffs out. Like, you're more than just one following in my footsteps. I don't know if he's saying this or thinking it.
I think he's saying. Oh no, in the manga, I know he's thinking it, but I think here maybe they had him say it. It was slightly unclear.
If it's your teacher, I must support you. And he goes down on his knees, Dogs' style. Like, I apologize for doing things out of order. Cried again, third time. The last two episodes, I cried like 3 times every time.
Yes.
And so I believe young Izuku is the right person to succeed me, that he will become the next symbol of peace. She asks him to stop. He apologizes for being weak to Deku's admiration and negligent in his teachings, and he puffs down into Small Might. True, his path is filled with blood, but to keep him from going down the same path, I want to stand by him and walk together with him. We get crying Deku asking if he can be a hero. All Might doesn't blame her for having misgivings about UA, but UA knows they have to change. And looking at the current UA, but at the future UA. And then, I love this line, will you let me pour my all into young Izuku?
Yeah.
And you see, I love this close-up shot of All Might, like his nose scrunched up against the ground.
Yes, I was going to mention that.
So good. I will protect him and raise him up, even if I have to give my life to do so. She's shocked and also falls to her knees, and she says, you're Izuku's reason for living. And it's just so, I love that she realizes how much All Might means to him. And she doesn't hate UA, she just wants Izuku to be happy, so don't give up on your life, please. Live properly and protect him. Like, saying, I'll die for you is great, but live for my son. Like, teach him. Dead you is worth it. I shouldn't say that. But if you can promise that, I will allow Deku to go. Deku cries. All Might promises, and then Deku also promises not to make her worry. Oh, we're almost at the end. All Might, please take care of my son. And we cut to the credits.
This turnaround, to me, for her, didn't feel... I mean, I guess it was because he was going so far, but where he said he wanted to make Izuku the next symbol of peace... whatever route you go down, that's still going to be quite bloody.
Yes.
So for him to come out and say that outright, I guess just shows how honest he is, because he's not bluffing to her and saying no, he'll be fine, I'll make sure of it, I'll look after him. He's still telling her no, I think he's going to go down this very difficult path. So he's being honest, but I guess if he didn't go so far to the ground with his bowing and his honesty, she wouldn't have believed it. After he'd told her this quite drastic plan.
I was like, here, like you said, she's honest for here. Like, she kind of lied about this, and it goes just a student with a bright future. But she says here, like, he's going to be the next symbol of peace. It's the first time he's told, like, another person that he thinks that much of Deku.
Yeah.
That he thinks that that's what he's going to become. And I guess, like, she's kind of overwhelmed. It's just nice to know that, like, All Might gets it, and they're not just, like, going wildly. They kind of have a plan. Like, they're going to improve.
The bits that we missed from the end of the chapter that they've cut out, it's a few pages actually. It's just as when All Might leaves and Izuku goes up to him, All Might mentions to him like how great his mum is, how he was really lucky to have her, and he says something I thought was quite interesting. He says that she reminds him somewhat of Nana, but obviously he doesn't mention Nana's name to Izuku. He calls her his mentor. And he then sort of seems to backtrack and say, I'm not really sure what it is though. I'm not sure if it's her hair or her strength, but he made that comparison.
feel like that's probably going to be in next week. But I guess
Yeah.
they wanted to cut out with, like...
I don't know, because from the preview of next week, it looks like it will all be focused on the school. And then after he says that, we see Izuku's mum crying at the window as she watches them talk. And then it cuts to Izuku saying, and then we started at school, and it's got pictures of all of the Class 1A schoolmates going in to the school and their journey there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it will be featured because it's just a page. I thought that comparison that was missed out.
Maybe even just like before the opening song, they might put it in.
Maybe.
And then cut like, so she's strong, and he does. I think he even buffs out to do it.
Mm.
Maybe not. When I'm not sure. When he said that she's strong, he does like the what do you call when you like pose?
He doesn't do his muscle form, but he does. He holds up his arm out like a sort of a bicep pose.
Yeah.
And then as he does that, there's two citizens in the background who obviously don't recognise him as All Might, and they say, "Oh, who's that skeleton there? It's gross."
Oh, didn't someone also recognise him on the beach? Or was that a while ago?
Oh, I think that was. I don't know if that was this episode. I think this was when they first went there and he went into his skeletal. His skeletal pose, but here someone says, "Oh, it's disgusting." He All Might just says, "Oh, I'm not completely used to this form yet." I know.
I love those small bits.
Yeah.
Did you watch the after credits scene?
I did watch the after credits.
Right, and we see that All for One is in Tartarus, which I know is a reference. I was going to make note of it. I think it's a Greek prison. Oh, the Iliad. Tartarus is as far beneath me as heaven is above earth.
I thought Tartarus was in the where they put the super criminals.
Yeah, it's where they put super criminals, but Tartarus is a reference to like ancient Greek hell.
Yeah.
Or
I've just googled it.
yeah.
Tartarus, yeah, in Greek mythology, it's a deep abyss used as a dungeon of torment. Ooh.
Kind of mythology going.
I like that it related back to what the police were saying, because the police were discussing whether or not the villains had planned it, and whether All for One had planned to fail, because that's all the failures were making Shigaraki stronger as he grew. And yet, then we see that yes, that is what he planned. He wanted to take himself out to push him to be stronger. And he's saying, All Might, you missed a trick there. You should let your student grow on his own. And the hatred is what makes him strong."
Yeah, you should have had the chance to die. You should take a chance to die when you had an out.
Yeah.
Like embolden your student and like inspire him, but instead you live. So it's kind of the opposite of what Inku was saying, that you should live and inspire him. But also one saying you should die. And I just love that Tartarus is a special prison for villain criminals. It's like I think it's usually like super powered criminals or something, but just villain criminals.
Yeah, it's the same place where because in the manga, when All for One is taken there, we see him go past Stain.
Yeah.
And Stain's stuck to the glass wall, just watching him go by, bored out of his mind. But Shigaraki they're all in the dark room feeling sad, and then we got Shigaraki with all those hands, and he's like hugging the hands around his face with his hood up.
And we see like they're all looking badass, but there's just like pop cans and bottles in the background. It's just like there's still a bunch of kids kind of.
Yeah.
Like, immature, but also they're letting their experience, hatred, and regret move them forward, and we get the repeat of like last episode ending with "next is your turn." Now we get the villain. We get All for One saying it to what to say?
Shigaraki.
Saying it to Shigaraki. Next is your turn. So kind of both. You kind of get like Shigaraki and Deku are kind of mirror images of each other. They both have like that's someone they look up to, and they both inspired by them. They've both been taken away in some form, or like their powers been taken away. And it's like, I don't know. It's interesting to see what'll happen.
Yeah. I wish I'd counted. I might go back and count the number of hands. I don't think we can see them all clearly enough to count though. The hands that are all around him. That's his his mum and his dad's hand, because we know that he calls the one on his face father. But yeah, and then the preview to next episode, which looks like it will be one of the first episodes for a while that we shouldn't cry at.
Oh, I wonder, because he calls the hand father, and we don't even know if Nana's child is his dad or his mom.
She said son.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she said the dad died and the son was given up to adoption.
Oh, I think she's a child. So, okay, so I guess, like, that's literally the hand, or not sure, or I guess we don't know for sure. He just called it father, but it could be the hand of Nana's son.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to make the most eerie sense at the moment.
Just kind of, it's sad. I don't know. But, and it's going to be kind of funny, because, like, the next chapters of the anime are going to be more, like, fun school stuff, like fun room shenanigans. And I noted in the next on, it focused on Aoyama's room. And my first thought was, yes, there's her boy.
I love Aoyama. We all love Aoyama.